Hello friends, welcome to my booktube channel, and today I'm going to be talking about the 5 books I read in April. Now it is almost halfway through May, but I have the house to myself, so I was like, you know what? We're gonna record what I read last month. So that's what we're gonna do today. I have some fun stats for you because stats are cool. I have it written down on my handy dandy notepad right here because I have to use my phone to record, so yeah. And I have my mic because we're fancy now. So I actually don't know if the audio quality is going to be good or not. So if it's bad, just give me grace, please, because we're working on it. My stats for last month were I read 5 books. 2 of those were physical, 2 of them were audio, and 1 was digital. The genres that I read were contemporary, mystery, literary, YA, thriller, romance, and historical. Those were obviously combined to make 5 books, not individual books, but those were the genres that I read. I think the rating ended up being like a basically rounded to a 4, so that's right here. So yeah, those are the stats. It was a good reading month overall, and when it comes to specifics, let's talk about the actual books that I read. I start out the month with Remarkably Bright Creatures by Shelby Van Pelt. This book was really fun. We're following this old lady who is still mourning the loss of her son and her husband. We're following another man who is trying to find his father, and we're following the octopus. The octopus that lives in the aquarium that the old lady works at, we get his point of view. That was my favorite part of this book. I got to tell people I was reading a book narrated by an octopus. What's more fun than telling people your book is narrated by an octopus? Honestly, I would like to hear. What would be more entertaining than that? Actually, I have an answer to that, but it's a book I read this month, so you'll hear about that later. Or go check out the reading vlog that I'm about to release that has something more interesting than being narrated by an octopus. Just letting you know. This book ended up being a 4.5 stars. At first I rated it a 5 stars, but the more I think about it, it's a 4.5 stars. It was really good, really fun. We're just kind of following them all along. Some things happen. You know, it's a literary book, so it's not like super like plot heavy, but it was still really good, and I highly recommend it if that's something you would be interested in. The second book I read was Doctorshipped, which was just on my Kindle. It was a fun, fast, clean, not spicy romance book, part of this like small town series. It was single dad trope. The girl doesn't think she wants to be in a relationship, so that's the combination we got in this book. It was fun. It was fun. Rated it 3 stars. Was very, very ready for it to be over with because I'm not a huge fan of super cheesy romance, but it was a good palate cleanser. So it was good for what I needed in that moment, but the moment was very short and I was ready to move on. The next book I read was All the Light We Cannot See. I listened to this on audiobook, so I really did not touch this book at all, but I listened to this on audiobook. Took me a couple weeks. In this book, we are following Marie Laure, which is a blind girl in the time where the Nazis invaded Paris. She and her father have to flee Paris. And we're also following Werner, a German orphan who starts getting fascinated with radios, and so he starts like working for the Nazis and Germans once he grows up. And we're also following some other characters as well. This book was really good. It was honestly really, really good. It just took me a long time to get through listening to it. Even I kind of was just wanting to pick up other things more, but I rated it 4 stars because objectively it is a really, really good book. Funnily enough, I used to think this book was a thriller just by the cover. Like just by the cover, I thought it was a thriller, but it is in fact historical fiction. So that's something you're into. This is really good. The next book that I read, this book, The Wishing Game by Meg Schaefer. This book was written for me personally. Like Meg Schaefer sat down and she was like, "This is a book that Amber will enjoy." Not actually, but it feels like it because in my brain, this is exactly the perfect book. I love The Inheritance Games. The Inheritance Games was one of my favorite trilogies, one of my favorite mysteries because it has like, you know, mysteries, it has like riddles, fun houses, fun islands. Well, that doesn't have an island, but this has a fun island as well. We're following Lucy, who works as a teacher's assistant, and she really, really, really wants to adopt this boy in the class. She wants to foster to adopt him because she's been like a mother to him anyway. He's an orphan. It's not just a random child that she wants to take from his family. She really wants to adopt him, but she does not have the financial ability to. They will not allow her to foster and adopt him. She needs money. So suddenly she gets a letter in the mail inviting her to this island. This island is called Clock Island. This island right here, cool map, wonderful map. There's this book series called The Clock Island Mysteries. It was Lucy's favorite series growing up. And the author of these books writes a new one. He hasn't written them in a long time. He writes a new book. Instead of publishing this book, he calls Lucy and a couple of other people to his island where they have to solve mysteries, solve riddles, win games to win this copy of this book. And then they can do whatever they want with it. They can sell it to the publishers. They can just keep it, but they can sell it, get a whole bunch of money for it. So Lucy goes to the island to try and win this money so that way she can have the financial stability to adopt this boy. It was so good. The mystery was fun, and it was just like, it was such a good time. It was really heartwarming. The relationship between Lucy and the little boy. I forgot his name. What was his name? Christopher. The little boy's name was Christopher. It was just so sweet. It was so good. Highly, highly, highly recommend this book if you like mysteries or just generally anything. And it's so short too. You just fly through it. Fly right through it. So good. The last book I listened to last month was The Reappearance of Rachel Price by Holly Jackson. Holly Jackson strikes again with another good mystery. I rated this one 4 stars. Wasn't my favorite book that she's created, but all of her books are good, objectively. I just hated Miss Belle, our main character. Didn't really like her very much. Also, didn't really like the romance that suddenly appeared. Like, I think the book would have been fine without it. Personal opinion, I did not feel connected to these characters like Pip Ravi from the Good Girls Guide to Murder series. Love them. Love them so much. Red from Five Survive, also didn't really love her, but I didn't hate her. I did not like Belle from this series, from this book, but still rated 4 stars because the mystery was intriguing. I wanted to see what was going to happen. I had some theories. I was right about some things, was wrong about some other things, and it was just a fun time overall. If you don't know what it was about, we're following Belle, who many years ago, her mom disappeared, and then one day they're filming a documentary about her mom's disappearance, and her mom just like walks in, like she just walks down the road and she's just there all disheveled, like she just popped out of somewhere, like she just came from somewhere, obviously, but she just came from wherever she had been kept. And Belle, they take her back in, they start filming for this documentary because they're like, oh, this is this is something new that's happening, we should probably film this. But quickly Belle doesn't really believe her mom. Like, she's like, after all this time, things aren't adding up. Belle is like, starts trying to look into it more, see if her mom's telling the truth, if these things have actually, like, what she's saying has actually happened, and just starts trying to uncover the mystery. So it was a fun time. It was good. Not my favorite book ever, but it was good. So yeah, those are the books that I read last month. These plus, the other two. It was a great reading month, and it sparked this reading month to be even better because I read 5 books last month. I've already read more than 5 books this month, and it's only the 10th of May. That's great. That's fun. If you want to know what I'm reading right now, I am currently reading A Man Called Ove, and I'm listening to A Flicker in the Dark. So that's fun. If you would like to see my reactions to those books, they are going to be in my next reading vlog, which is going to be up after this, which is where I realistically read for a week. But yeah, thank you so much for stopping by, listening to me talk about the books I read last month. I hope you had a great reading month as well. I hope you're having a great reading month so far. And if you're not, try out some of these books. Try out some of the books I am reading in my next video. Try out some other books that you think you would be interested in, because there are so many good books out there. You don't have to have a bad reading month. So yeah, thank you very much, and I will see you in my video next week. Bye.